Every so often, there's a vehicle that comes around that looks like a fantastic value proposition on paper. Has great powertrains, has great styling, and also creature comforts and amenities that might be unrivaled. This year, it's the Volkswagen Tiguan, and the expectations were set very high. The bar was set very high for this vehicle because of what Volkswagen was promising. Later this year, we got the SEL R-Line Turbo, and the concerns were that it was going to be very expensive. Instead, we got a crossover coming in under $50,000, providing a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, giving us 268 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque, and we also get massaging front seats, a feature not found in the Audi Q5. It is essentially an affordable Audi Q5. Volkswagen checked off all those boxes. In today's video, we're going to go over the pros and cons that makes the Volkswagen Tiguan a nominee for the Boston Autoblog Car of the Year award, but then also go over the cons that could hurt this vehicle in the long run in its class and also for this award. So if you're ready, then I'm ready. Let's dive right into the Volkswagen Tiguan. Now, as always, I want to give a huge shout and thank you to Gervais Volkswagen here in Lowell, Massachusetts, for letting me come down here to check out the Volkswagen Tiguan once again for this video. Their link will be in the description below, so you can check out their extensive Volkswagen inventory. So while we're outside, let's begin with the first pro here for the 2026 Volkswagen Tiguan, and that's going to be the aggressive and bold styling here for this generation. If you remember the second generation Tiguan, it was large, it was boxy, it wasn't athletic, it didn't look fun. The first impressions really weren't the best here for Volkswagen's bestseller. However, for the third generation, everything has changed. Up front, you're going to receive a rounder front fascia that right here at least kind of looks like the GTI or Golf R. So it is going to be sports car inspired, which I really do like. You're going to have LED headlights and LED daytime running lights. If you go with the SEL R-Line Turbo, there will be a light bar that runs the length of the front fascia into the Volkswagen emblem. Very classy, something we don't typically see here in this price range between $40,000 and $50,000. By going with the SE R-Line Black, you're going to have this aggressive front grille here in this gloss black finish, looking really nice, and you'll have functional side air curtains for better airflow and also helping out with the overall aerodynamics, making it a bit more efficient on the highway. Also, one thing that Volkswagen did is that they rounded out the front fascia a bit, making it look ID4-like, and you're going to notice that on all four trims for the 2026 model. But if you're looking for something a bit more aggressive and appealing to look at, going with the SE R-Line Black or SEL is going to be the way to go here. As you take a look at the side profile, you're going to have a variety of different tire sizes. With the SE R-Line Black, we have the 20-inch wheels here. I don't think tire size is too much of an issue for the 2026 model, mostly because the MQB Evo platform is far more refined than it was before. And you're also going to notice that with the ride quality, it has most certainly been improved over the outgoing generation. We also have some gloss black trim outlining the wheel wells. I love that touch. You're also going to have gloss black trim if you go with the SE R-Line Black, giving you a two-tone look that is available. It is optional for this trim. Otherwise, it would be all one paint color if you go with the SE, and sometimes with the SEL R-Line Turbo. Then as we make our way around to the back, I actually like the rear fascia just as much as the front fascia, so Volkswagen didn't get lazy with their styling. You have the LED light bar that runs the length of the rear fascia, and on the SEL R-Line Turbo, this badge will also be illuminated, much like we saw up front with that review. You got the Tiguan badge being written out on liftgate. We see this a lot now in the automotive industry. For our model today, we have the grille design that makes its way from the front fascia, so some continuity here. And then the exhaust outlets will be tucked beneath the bumper for that cleaner appearance. Lastly, one thing I want to point out here, and it's very prominent on the SE R-Line Black, is the sloping roofline, so it's not as boxy as the second generation. And I like the fact that it looks sporty. I like the fact that it has this welcoming design that really sets a tone for what the third generation will be offering you when we check out the interior. Next up is going to be the powertrain options for the Volkswagen Tiguan. With the S, SE, and SE R-Line Black, you're going to receive a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Producing 201 horsepower and 221 pound-feet of torque, it will be paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. These three trims alone have a nice healthy boost in performance over the outgoing generation. If Volkswagen just offered us this, it would be more than fine, more than adequate. However, they went one step further for the 2026 model year, giving you the SEL R-Line Turbo, also powered by a 2-liter turbo, However, giving you 268 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. It's also paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. In my mind, if you're someone looking at purchasing an Audi Q5, but you don't want to spend 55 or 60 grand, the R-Line Turbo is going to be the better choice. You get the massaging seats, you get heated and ventilated leather trim seats, nice technology, and also the performance. The only downside here, though, is that with the Tiguan, you get the 8-speed automatic, which isn't as quick shifting as the 7-speed found in the Q5 and also with the GTI and Golf R, but you're saving $10,000 when you're comparing it to that Q5, and I think when you're comparing this to, say, a current generation RAV4 or Honda CR-V, it will be a more fun option. Then hopping inside the Volkswagen Tiguan for 2026 is the fact that all 4 trims for this model year and generation feel very well equipped, even for a base S trim. If you're someone who wants to save a lot of money and spend around $35,000, with the S you get heated cloth seats, dual zone climate control, a full digital gauge cluster, and a 13-inch touchscreen. Just for the S. When you get to the SE and SE R-Line Black, those seats get upgraded to leatherette trim seats. You're also going to have a panoramic moonroof that is available on the SE, standard here for the SE R-Line Black. If that's not enough for you, though, with the SE R-Line Black, you get a head-up display as well. So that's something you don't typically find under $40,000 from a lot of rivals. And then with the SEL R-Line Turbo, you get leather trim seats that are heated and ventilated and massaging for both the driver and passenger. And I have to say, the massaging seat functionality is the best I have ever encountered under $50,000. Now, with the SEL R-Line Turbo, yes, it does come in at $45,000, but you get a lot for what you're paying. And in some ways, I think the Tiguan feels more like an Audi Q5 than the current Audi Q5, which I think is saying a lot. And that leads me into the last pro for this generation. It's the fact that the Tiguan is Audi-like with its interior, with its technology, with its powertrain now, out of the SEL R-Line Turbo, and also the styling. Volkswagen has knocked it out of the park with this crossover. And I think that for someone who has to upgrade from a sports car or a hatchback, like with the Volkswagen GTI, because you have a family, the Tiguan, especially the SEL R-Line Turbo, is easier to stomach, and it's going to be a fun daily driver that's going to entice you to drive it all the time. And I think it's that right there that makes the Tiguan, in my mind, one of the best compact crossovers money can buy right now heading into 2026. Now, unfortunately, all these changes for the third generation Volkswagen Tiguan that makes this crossover so appealing, so great, come at a very hefty cost. And I'm not talking about pricing. So let's open up this power liftgate here, and inside, behind the second row seats, you're looking at right around 33.8 cubic feet of room. Now, I do have some receipts for the 2025 model year, which shows 26.5. So it comes down to what you believe, what you want to believe, and you can be delusional in one way or the other. But regardless, whether it's 32.8 or 26.5, that is less than a lot of the competition out there right now. Whether it's the RAV4, the Honda CR-V, the Kia Sportage, this is going to be below average. Now, at 33.8, that's perfectly fine. It falls right in line with the Subaru Forester. However, I can tell you this right now, when I look at this cargo area, this is not bigger than an Audi Q5. This is not bigger than a Subaru Forester. I think Volkswagen was correct for the 2025 model at 26.5 because, yes, it's bigger than a Volkswagen GTI, but it's not that much bigger. But I'm going to leave it at 32.8. It's up to you guys to decide on that one. But either way, this is a downgrade from the Mark II Volkswagen Tiguan, so you got to keep all of this in mind. Now, thankfully, though, there are going to be some storage compartments for some smaller items, maybe a couple water bottles, car detail equipment, or maybe even a first aid kit. And then in my mind, what makes this a lot better and easier to stomach is the fact you are going to find a spare tire beneath the floor mat. So if you do encounter a flat on those road trips or travels, you can fix that and be back on the road. And obviously, you can lower the second row seats to maximize cargo space if you are moving some boxes around or maybe just going on a skiing and snowboarding trip with a close friend. Also balancing out the smaller cargo dimensions and the fact we no longer get a third row is that for the second row, a lot of interior space. You're looking at right on 40 inches of legroom, and that would be very competitive with the Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, and Kia Sportage. So if you're just focusing on the occupancy and the amount of space you have for people rather than their luggage, you're going to love the Tiguan, and it seems as though Volkswagen prioritized that for the third generation. It's just that the practicality seems to be a bit subpar for what this vehicle used to be like a couple of years ago. Now, I will say, though, that you can squeeze in a third person in the center center, giving you a lot of flexibility out of a 2-row crossover. And even with the panoramic moonroof, a lot of interior space and headroom, so tall passengers will not be hitting their head on the headliner. Now, with the SE R-Line and below, you're not going to have heated outboard seats. It will be available on the SEL R-Line Turbo. So keep all of that in mind if you want a luxurious vehicle for your next daily driver. And then to wrap up this video and the list of cons is going to be the confusing technology in which Volkswagen has not addressed yet in any of their products. Yes, they have given us physical buttons once again on the steering wheel, but this head unit, for a lack of a better term, sucks. There's no physical buttons and dials for the dual zone climate control, AC, front rear defrosters, fan speed, or fan direction. There's no dial for the volume either. Now, I love the full digital gauge cluster. It's great. I love the head-up display. But this infotainment system is going to be a pain to use if you are not technologically inclined. If you're someone who does love tech, I think you're going to notice this head unit will blow the competition out of the water. But aside from that, the technology is a huge blind spot and weak spot for Volkswagen right now because this is all very, very unnecessary. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Let me know what you think about the Volkswagen Tiguan for the 2026 model year. And also let me know in the comment section below what you think is the next nominee to be listed for the Boston Auto Blog Car of the Year award. But guys, once again, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you guys next time.